Alright, in this video we're going to discuss how we go about creating clothing for a full body model. And again, one of the things that I early on determined on this project, or at least for this model, is that this was going to be a character that was going to have clothes on. So again, the body doesn't necessarily have a lot of definition, but it has the right topology for animation. And now I want to use this topology to be able to create clothes for my character. So one of the first things I'm going to do is actually create a copy of this, or a duplicate of this. Even before I do that, again, I want to make sure that I kind of bake into the character all the information that it has in it already. So again, it's not at 0, 0, 0. We want to make sure that, again, the center of our body is kind of going through that middle line right here. Alright. So you could just kind of select everything, move it over a little bit. I just want to do that before I do anything else. But again, even when I do that, it's still not at 0, 0, 0 here. So I want to make sure that I select everything and I go into modify. We freeze our transformations. So again, if for any reason we move anything, we can always go back to our origin point by just typing a 0 here. And we also want to get rid of our history at this point. So delete by type in history. And again, the first thing I'm going to do is going to create a duplicate of this body, and I can move it to the side. And again, all these pieces are going to share into the same axis, so I'll be able to align them, or just to translate them back into 0 by just typing a 0 on the X here. So I wanna let's see. I want to create a suit. And I have a little bit of reference of what I want to do with this guy. So let's just kind of take a look at this before I begin detaching parts. And let's see, where do I have that reference? Alright, so it's something along the lines of this. So I want to have a two-piece suit, alright, and with a shirt and a tie. It's going to have kind of sneakers for shoes, and probably going to be making glasses for my character. But let's just kind of focus on the clothes. And again, you want to go and kind of find as much reference as you can on what it is that you're going to be modeling. Again, I'm going to start by using the geometry that I have to begin that process. So I'm going to go into this body that I copied here, and I'm going to start detaching things that are going to become other things. So I'm going to select this geometry here. Alright, I'm going to go into the front viewport and just go to mesh and extract. Alright, and again, the only problem with this is that once you extract them, it kind of bakes the 0, 0, 0 at this position. So you know, I'm going to be it's going to be easy just to kind of move them back into place anyway, so it's not really a big deal. And again, another thing that I'm noticing here is that I didn't really select all the polygons that I needed. So let me just, and again, if I want to go back to 0 here, maybe instead of doing that, I'll just isolate that body. Alright, and start. That way it's at 0, 0, 0 from the beginning. This kind of makes it easier for me. So I want to go in here and detach the geometry that's going to become the pants for my character. Alright. So I want to select those and I want to extract them. Alright. Probably want to select the foot here, foot geometry that I have here. And again, that's going to be the basis for the shoes. So I'm going to extract that. Alright. And I have the torso here. I don't need the head or the hand, so I can get rid of that. Just come here and I want to get rid of some of this geometry. And the face, I don't need that either. And again, I want to be careful how much geometry I'm deleting. Definitely delete a little bit too much there. Probably gonna need some of this geometry that I deleted there, so let's just select this right here. Okay, and now we have again the basis for our shoes, our pants, and our shirt here. And I'm gonna go back to this. Another thing that I want to start doing at this point also is to kind of color code my meshes, so I'm not confused about what I'm supposed to be looking at here. So I'm gonna go into my let's see, my hyper shade. I'm just going to create a couple of simple materials that I can use as the basis for some of the things that I'm going to be doing here. So I definitely want to have not necessarily a blend, something that doesn't have any specularity to it, so we probably want to go with a Lambert actually. So we'll double click on this one to see the different attributes, and I can close some of this stuff that I don't need at this second. I'm going to be calling this one skin, and I'm just going to give it a color that kind of resembles that. Again, it's just color coding. This is not the actual texture that this model is going to have. It's just for me to make it easy to kind of reference what I'm working at the moment, so it's not confusing. I want to give this piece of geometry here a different color, probably some white color for a shirt. Or some off gray. And let's see, we have the shoes, we have the pants, we have the shirt. Now we're also going to need to do a jacket for a guy here. So again, I know that I'm going to be using this geometry for that, so I probably want to make another duplicate of this right here and either put it on the side or hide it. But this is going to be the basis for my jacket. Alright, and again, it was kind of freeze transform when I detached it, so I can always kind of bring it back by doing this. So alright, so one of the things that you can that happens when you do this is that since it's based on the geometry body, the geometry of the body, sorry, is that it's skin tight. Alright, so we need to kind of give this a little bit of room between the skin and the clothing. So it's a couple of things that you can do about this. You can I guess go in there and kind of individually start moving edges out and stuff like that. You could extrude this out, but again, you probably don't want to give this that kind of thickness at this point, because it could make things a little bit complicated later on when you start adding detail. So I'm going to be using the sculpt geometry tool to push this geometry out. So I'm going to click on the sculpt geometry tool, alright, and it gives me this brush, and I'm going to double click here so I can actually see the attributes of my brush. Alright, these are the kind of different types of brushes that I'm using. These are different type of operation. I'm mostly going to be using the push and pull. Alright, mostly pull now because again I need to kind of push some of this stuff out so it's not skin tight. So for if I want a bigger brush, I hold the B key, alright, and I can increase that. And for the maximum displacement, I'm keeping this pretty low. It's 0.0025, and I'm going to start going here, and I'm going to start kind of touching my geometry here. Alright, and this is going to start again bringing it out. And again, the idea is that we give the skin a little bit of kind of breathing room here. Another thing that I'm not using right now are this image planes. I probably could get rid of this right now. I'm just going to do that. I can either go here and select them, go to the attributes, and hide them. Or I can just, if I don't need them anymore, I can go to the rendering editor, go to hypershade, and go to my cameras and just kind of get rid of them again if I don't need them. And I still got my cameras here, so I can go to show and click on cameras, and it's going to hide that. Alright, that way we don't have that stuff going in. I'm going to keep this here just in case. Again, I'm going to need it kind of later on. But I'm going to go back to this brush tool and just kind of start pushing this geometry out. And again, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the final version of our model here is going to be a smooth version. So again, you want to make sure that the clothes that you are kind of creating, it fits the smooth model, not necessarily the blocky one that we have without the smoothing. So again, this is not going to work very well if we don't have anything selected. So I'll come here, and I don't want to have reflection on at this moment because again, I'm only working on one side. Alright, and again, we have kind of something decent here to start with. We can come in here and kind of change some of the geometry again so it doesn't look so skin tight. Alright, and again, and again, this kind of looks here like you can see the collarbone. Probably want to have this again. There's going to be a collar shirt here, so let me push this out so it doesn't look so tight. Okay, and we have a shirt for a character. Now we're going to be doing the same thing with our pants here. And again, I kind of want to smooth that out just to kind of see how it fits the legs of my character. And I'm just going to move on to a further file. This is the full body. Let's start with clothes here. Let's check this one out. Alright, and again, at this moment in my progress, I've already gone in here and I've kind of pushed the vertices on my shoes, on my pants, and I kind of model that. This is the shirt here, and then I created this jacket based on the geometry of that. And again, remember that we made a copy of this, and we put it on the side, and then I went back and did this. I think I could very well have done this based on the geometry of the shirt as well, so that wasn't necessary. And then again, at this point, then you kind of start adding a little bit of details to our geometry here. Let's just keep checking the progress here. Alright, and again, I also went in here and I modeled half of a tie and stuff like that. I modeled the collar by taking the edges around my neck and just kind of extruding that out and doing the fold. Same with this, again, just kind of based on the edges that we had here. And I've also kind of came in here and did a little bit of detail on the shoes. Again, these are not kind of finished, but this is just a start. And again, there are two kind of ways to kind of going about kind of doing clothing when it comes to CG characters. You can either go into your model and do as much detail as possible and in the 3D, and then just assign tileable textures to kind of cover the model, or you know, not do anything like seams and stuff like that on your model, and unwrapping everything and let your textures kind of take care of this type of stuff. I went in here and actually did some of these kind of details. Again, it's just kind of a preference thing, or it kind of definitely also depends on what's going to be the purpose of this. Since I know this character is not going to be you know, game friendly and things like that, I don't need to kind of unwrap it and do normal normal type bone mapping and stuff like that. So what's going to end up happening with this is I'm probably going to end up adding some sort of tileable texture for the clothing. And yeah, the same thing's going to apply to the pants and the shirt. Probably going to end up unwrapping the tie so I can add the this kind of texture. But once we have, and again, let me just kind of go to the final version of our clothes here. Alright, I can just kind of smooth this out. Alright, once we have, again, something along the lines of this, the next step, and again, this just kind of depends on what the purpose of the character, and again, for the purpose of this workflow, what we're going to end up doing, it's unwrapping. I'm going to start by unwrapping my character and then moving on to kind of texturing the clothes here, and then I'm going to start mirroring. And again, I'll talk about why I'm going to follow that specific workflow in the future video. So this concludes how you go about creating clothing for at least half of your character here.